Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another evening with Blockchain Braun. It's good to have you here this evening. As you come into the video, if you would smash up the like buttons, subscribe and share with all your friends. I sure would appreciate it. And I believe this is a video you will want to share. All right, let's get into it. Well, as we've passed this week, we've gotten the election out of the way. Hopefully. We understand that President Donald J. Trump is the president-elect and will be the 47th president of the United States. So he has been reelected. Now, I know for a lot of people, they are not happy about that fact. However, I believe we'll be just fine. I know there were things thrown around by the left side and the right side that if this particular president gets in office, if Madam Vice President Kamala Harris gets in office, then our democracy is in trouble, and if President Donald J. Trump gets back in office, our democracy is in trouble, and he's going to tear down the Constitution, and all types of things were going to happen if he gets back in office. And I would say to you that I believe that we're going to be fine. I truly do. America is still one of the greatest stories in history. America is still the greatest country in the world. And all in all, I think we're going to be fine. I believe if Congress does what they're supposed to do, I believe the majority of Congress is going to be Republican this go round. And I believe cooler heads prevail in all situations, and we do what's best for our country. We do what's best for our children. We do what's best for our nation going forward. I think America would be just fine. So, a lot of things that were thrown around, I think we're headed into some kind of overarching territory, and more extreme type things were being said. But in my opinion, I think we're going to be just fine. One good thing about this, and this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. Now, I had an investment strategy for either candidate, depending on who got in office, whether it was Madam Vice President Kamala Harris or whether it was President Donald Trump. I had a plan in mind. Now, as you saw that when President Donald Trump was elected, the market had kind of a favorable response to that. And I believe that's kind of the case whenever there's the president-elect is decided. I believe that the markets normally have a favorable response to it, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a favorable response to President Donald Trump being elected. But then in addition to that, Fed Chair Jerome Powell decided to drop the Fed funds rate again by 25 basis points. Or to those that may not know, that is a quarter of a percentage point, which is also fantastic. So you had that, you had a favorable response by the market, then you had a federal funds rate drop, and I believe that the market continued to be favorable and showed some great results. I know my portfolio was looking fantastic, and I'm pretty sure yours was too. And so both of those things were great. But I want to talk about this too as well. The crypto market had a fantastic response, especially in reference to Bitcoin. Bitcoin hit an all-time high. It went up over $81,000 today. Again, it went up over $81,000 today. And we have been talking, those of us who have been in the cryptocurrency community, I've been in the cryptocurrency community and the blockchain community since 2017. Dibbed and dabbed in Bitcoin a little while before that, but I was used to play poker with, unfortunately. And so that's a long story. But if I would have been investing in it like I should have been, then my situation could be looking a whole lot different right now. So, but that's another story. But those of us in the crypto market we believe, though Madam Vice President talked favorably about Bitcoin too, sparingly in her campaign, President Donald Trump talked favorably about Bitcoin a little bit more proactively in his campaign. And what I mean by that is took it so much further as to go to the Bitcoin conference in Nashville this year. And he said some favorable things about what he would do for cryptocurrency, what he would do for Bitcoin, what he would do for the blockchain industry that I think you may want to know. Now, I'm not going to give you investment advice tonight, but I'm going to give you some things that you may want to look at. And I'm going to tell you why. If you don't take advantage of the information I'm going to give you tonight, if you don't take advantage of the cryptocurrency industry going forward, I don't know if you're going to have an opportunity like this ever again. You have 4 years. What happens 4 years after that, I don't know. But we could be on the cusp of the biggest cryptocurrency run in history. And I'm serious. I'm being very serious right now. We could be on the cusp of something that's just unheard of, unseen before. Not only in the cryptocurrency industry, but in investment history. So I'm going to talk to you about some things tonight. I'm not going to give you investment advice. Let me go ahead and say that up front. I don't need the feds coming after me. So I'm not going to give you investment advice. However, I'm going to give you some suggestions of where to look. I'm going to maybe point you in some directions maybe that you want to take a look at. And so then it's up to you to take it from there. As the saying goes in investments, a rising tide lifts all ships. Bitcoin is that rising tide in the cryptocurrency community that lifts all ships. Because as Bitcoin goes, it takes the rest of the market with it. Now, this is the thing. The stock market is looking pretty good right now, too. And I'm going to talk to you about that, too, as well, on some things that you can look at to where both of these particular markets coincide and cross and interact. So hopefully you'll take this information tonight and hopefully it'll be beneficial to you. Now, as we've gotten past the election, I know a lot of people are upset because their candidate didn't get picked. My hearts go out to you. But I think we're going to be fine as a nation. And I would say to you that there are still ways that you can take advantage of the market. Once you get over the fact that President Trump is in office, you need to get used to that fact. But what you need to focus on is, while he's in office, how can things still benefit my family? How can things benefit me financially? What are some things that can happen that could be beneficial for us that I can take advantage of? And that's what I want to talk about here tonight. So hopefully it'll help you. All right. So at the convention during his campaign, Donald Trump went to the Bitcoin conference in 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee, and he talked about a few things that he would do for Bitcoin and for blockchain. So I'm going to go over those here with you tonight. The first thing he said it would do, or one thing he said he would do, was create a government stockpile of Bitcoin. So during the conference, Trump noted that his administration would keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires in the future, adding that the digital currency would act as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile. Now, there was some Bitcoin that was confiscated because of criminal activity, around 5 billion in value. So Trump said, in reference to that, he would like to stockpile that Bitcoin. Now, what are the plans as far as what he's going to do with it? That I can't tell you. But that is definitely a good thing, because Bitcoin, if you don't know, Bitcoin is a store of value. We talked about it earlier on, those that are in the cryptocurrency community. talked about it being used, for purchases and things of that nature, and you still can. A lot of people don't, but it's used more as a store of value now because there are other things in the blockchain industry that maybe are more realistic platforms that can be used for a medium of exchange as opposed to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is at 80,000, like it's hovering at 80,000 right now, which is amazing. And so when you're looking at something like that, maybe you could, I talked about maybe one time because Bitcoin is the goal of digital currency. And I talked about maybe backing our dollar by Bitcoin, maybe as a suggestion, but that's probably not realistic because there has to be some regulation involved. And there's still going to be regulation involved in some way, form, or fashion. But if it's going to be a part of our monetary system, as far as backing the dollar or being used as a medium of exchange, then there has to be regulation. A lot of people in the industry, in the blockchain industry and cryptocurrency industry, don't like that word regulation. However, I would dare say this: the way our monetary system has been regulated has made us the world reserve currency. The way we have regulations, and it's not perfect, I believe has made us the most sought after currency in the world. That's why our currency is the mostly held currency in the world still, even with all of our issues and things, all of our issues we've had in the past. It's still better than other places in the world. So now, when it was backed by gold, that I believe that's when it was at its height, and hopefully we can get back to that to where our money is backed by something of value like gold. Bitcoin may not be it because of the risk factor there, but hopefully it could be backed by something like gold, and I believe that would make us even uh, more reputable than we already are. We are reputable, but I believe that would make us even more so if we were to back our money again by gold, silver, or something of that nature. So I believe we're still the most sought after currency. More countries still hold $100 bills, I think, than any other place as far as other places' currencies. Now, the $100 bill is not used a lot here in the United States of America. We use more 20s and things of that nature. But in other places, I believe it's still the most widely held currency in the world still. So that's still a great thing. However, let's get back to the cryptocurrency and get back to the blockchain. So Trump is favorable for cryptocurrency and for Bitcoin. And so for the Bitcoin that has been confiscated, he would like to stockpile that. And I'm thinking perhaps there's a plan for that. And we'll get to that here in a minute. Also, as well, the second thing he said he would like to do is he would like to create a crypto advisory council. So in Nashville, Trump proposed launching a group called the Bitcoin and Crypto Presidential Advisory Council, which would have rules written by people who love your industry, not hate your industry. Now, if you know, a lot of things have been thrown around about cryptocurrency and blockchain as far as the risk factor there. A lot of people hate it. They say there's too much risk involved, and it wouldn't be something that we need to use because of the risk factor involved and because of the criminal activity that could surround it. But Trump said he would like to put together a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin advisory council, presidential advisory council, for people that love it and not hate it. And perhaps that would be something that works as in a way of bringing ideas together, putting platforms together maybe, because then perhaps you'll be able to bring in some developers, you'll be able to bring in some engineers, you'll be able to bring in more ideas to put more things together, or put some white papers together. It could be anything, and then advise on how could cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, how could it be how could it be implemented into our monetary system? How could it be assimilated into our regular economics and be used in an efficient manner? I believe they'll figure out a way to do that because what I believe is I believe our country is going towards things like same day settlement, which we're at T+1 right now. We were at T+3, then we went to T+2, then we went to T+1 in May of this year. So T+1 settlement, which is fantastic. So that means when you do a transaction, then it will settle the next day, which it used to be 2 days before that. And then before that, it was 3 days. I believe they want to get to the point to where when you do a transaction or you do a trade, that it settles on the same day. Along with that, I believe what they want to get to is where money, when it's transferred, that it happens on the same day. We're almost to that point now in certain realms and certain facets of money transactions and money movement. A lot of things aren't able to happen on the same day, but maybe on the institutional side of things or with big money trades, maybe it can't happen on the same day now. Maybe it still takes more time. But I believe they're going to look towards not only same day settlement, but same day money transactions, that when you do a transfer, it's going to happen on the same day and it's going to happen quickly. Also, in addition to that, I believe we want to get to the point to where we have on-demand liquidity, where we don't have to sell and wait for capital. Okay, let's sell this particular security and we got to wait for the liquidity to come from it or the capital to come from it, and then we'll be able to use it after that. I believe we want to get to the point to where there's some type of on-demand liquidity right there, ready to use on demand whenever we need it. I believe all these things are going to coincide together and things are going to happen quickly in money movement in the future. And I personally believe that blockchain technology, the blockchain industry, distributed ledger technology is an incubator for that. 24 hours, 7 days a week, on demand, same day, right then and there. I believe that's what we're moving towards. And I truly believe that blockchain technology is an incubator for that. That's just my thought. Also, as well, one thing Trump said he would like to do, or that he proposed as far as in blockchain and Bitcoin, he said he would like to block the Federal Reserve from creating its own digital currency. Now, with that, I don't know, because we kind of have that already. We have what is called the United States digital currency, or the USDC. It's used on the blockchain market or used on the cryptocurrency market. And there were some things being tossed around as maybe foreseeing that being used as our regular currency going forward into the future. I believe they're still looking to do something of that nature. But the thing about that is, and this is one of the reasons Trump said that he will block the Fed from doing this or try to block the Fed from doing this, is because there has to be something like what is called a central bank digital currency. But Trump would like to block that from happening. The thing about money movement, and this is another thing that the cryptocurrency industry doesn't like, is they don't want a centralized conglomerate or centralized authority running things. The greatest thing about cryptocurrency and the blockchain industry is that it operates most of the things, and the idea of it is to operate on a decentralized platform to where it's not centralized, but it's decentralized. And it allows each individual to custody their own assets without a centralized authority running things. So a CBDC maybe would go against that and go against that idea of being decentralized. So that's something that they're going to have to look into. Maybe there's going to have to be some type of compromise there. I don't know. You have things like XRP right now and XRP Ledger, which could be beneficial maybe to something like that. But a lot of people do not like XRP, I believe, in the blockchain and cryptocurrency community because they say it operates too much like a centralized platform instead of being decentralized. But the people at XRP and the people at Ripple beg to differ. They said, well, no, we are probably the most decentralized cryptocurrency in the industry from their argument, and they have some things to back that up. So, of course, that could be debatable, but that's just something to look at. There are a lot of different platforms and a lot of different things that could be used in the cryptocurrency market that are different from Bitcoin and that operates a certain way. So a lot of things to look at there. So those are things that Trump said he would look at doing. Also as well, which this is not going to happen. During the campaign, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump said they're going to do a lot of things on day one. If you know, like me, nothing's going to happen on day one. That's just not going to happen. That's unrealistic in my opinion. I don't care what it is. There are certain parameters and certain processes that it has to go through before something's done. It's not going to happen on day one. If you're looking at doing policy or anything of that nature, it has to go through Congress first. So you know that's not going to happen on day one. But President Trump said on day one he's going to fire Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler is the chairman of the SEC. Gary Gensler is not favorable towards cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, which baffles me a little bit because when I first started out with blockchain and cryptocurrency, I used to watch Gary Gensler. And what I mean by that is Gary Gensler was a professor of blockchain and cryptocurrency at MIT. And they had classes that you could watch for free. So I used to go online and stream Gary Gensler's classes and watch it. So I used to look at those classes at MIT. And he seemed very favorable for cryptocurrency then, but then things changed. But, of course, if you don't know, he got caught up in the FTX debacle. Most of those people that were involved, if not all, the main people, when you're looking at Sam Bankman-Fried, and you're looking at the people that were at Alameda, those people were from MIT. And Gary Gensler, being a professor at MIT, from my understanding, it was coming out in articles and in the news, from my understanding, that he was meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried on a regular basis. Maybe to discuss certain rules and regulations or whatever they were discussing. But somehow he circumvented that and got out of it without being brought up on charges like Sam Bankman-Fried was, and going to prison and things like that. Not saying that Gary Gensler would have done anything like that and that he was heavily involved that way, but he did have a lot of discussions with Sam Bankman-Fried. And then Gary Gensler is totally against cryptocurrency, but it just baffles me because he was a professor of blockchain and cryptocurrency at MIT. Also, when it comes to bringing cases, he's bringing cases against Ripple. I believe there are some things going on against Richard Hart right now, who, was the creator of Hex. And so he's been heavily involved in bringing cases and saying bad things about people who are involved in the industry. And so Trump said on day one that he would fire Gary Gensler. Maybe it's not on day one, but at some point in time, I think he's looking to get him up out of there. Now, the people in the cryptocurrency community would be happy to hear that because they think that Gary Gensler is a detractor of people in the industry, and it's not good for us. It's not going to help us move forward. So that's another thing that he's looking to do. Also, as well, there's another thing that he talked about that I think that we should look at. He also talked about that the rules will be written by people who love your industry and not hate the industry. And I think I said that before, and it seems like that's where Trump wants to leave it. He wants to put it in the hands of people who love it, and I believe that he believes that there could be some great ideas that come from it. Now, this is the thing that I want you to look at tonight without taking up too much more of your time. Now, when Trump gets in office, I want you to understand something that happened that I think a lot of people would miss here. So take a look at this with me. So let's go to CNBC.com. Now, I told you the things that he's looking to do, but this is what I want you to look at here. Now, let's look at what's highlighted. Now, I already talked about on day one, he said, I will fire Gary Gensler. Let's look at the one before that. Strategic National Crypto Stockpile. Now, I talked about that, about him wanting to stockpile the Bitcoin that's been seized from criminals. So he wants to seize that. And he says to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin to U.S. government the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. Now, what they're going to do with that, as I said before, I don't know, but I'm sure there are some plans for that. But this is what I want you to take a look at, guys. Please take a look at this, and I want you to pay attention. Now, I'm going to read this. All Bitcoin will be mined in America. Now, I don't know how he's going to do that because China, I believe, on and off allows the mining of Bitcoin, but it just depends. I think it's on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes they allow it, sometimes they don't. You never know what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. But I believe when Satoshi Nakamoto, or the people that are Satoshi Nakamoto, they want anybody to be able to mine Bitcoin if they have the capacity to do so. Now, this is the thing about Bitcoin. When you mine it, it eats up a lot of energy. And many perceive it to be not climate friendly. But this is what Trump said that he would like to do. So let's read it. All Bitcoin will be mined in America. It says here that there was an intimate gathering. From my understanding, he had a gathering at Mar-a-Lago. In this meeting, this who was in the meeting, okay, says the intimate gathering brought together a coalition of some of the biggest private and public American miners in the business, including representatives from Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital Holdings, TerraWolf, CleanSpark, and Core Scientific. I don't know if you caught this or not. I don't think you understand where I'm going with this. I'm going to read this again. The intimate gathering, this was a gathering at Mar-a-Lago, brought together a coalition of some of the biggest private and public American miners in the business, including representatives from Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital Holdings, TerraWolf, CleanSpark, and Core Scientific. He said here, let's read further. He said here, Biden's hatred of Bitcoin only helps China, Russia, and the radical communist left. We want all the remaining Bitcoin to be made in the USA. It will help us be energy dominant. If crypto is going to define the future, I want it to be mined, minted, and made in the USA, Trump declared in Nashville. Now, this is going to get me to my point. For those that are upset that President Trump will be the president or 47th president of the United States being reelected, for those of you that are upset about that, I want you to take time out and pay attention to this. He had a meeting at Mar-a-Lago. These were the companies that were at the meeting. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read these companies to you again. Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital Holdings, TerraWolf, CleanSpark, and Core Scientific. Sounds so good, I'm going to read it again because I don't think you get it. I hope you're getting it right now. He had a meeting at Mar-a-Lago. Okay? Let's get past the fact that maybe your favorite candidate didn't get in office. This man had a meeting at Mar-a-Lago. This is before it was determined that he was going to win. This was during the campaign. He had a meeting. These are the representatives that were at the meeting. Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital Holdings, TerraWolf, CleanSpark, and Core Scientific. President Trump says he wants mining to take place in the United States, even more so than it would in China, Russia, or anywhere else in the world. He talks about us being energy dominant. And the thing about Bitcoin mining is that it eats up a lot of energy. But we understand that Trump said he's going to drill, baby, drill. He wants to make us energy independent. Now, think about being energy independent. I don't know if that's realistic as far as being energy independent. I'm not even sure we should be energy independent. Now, they pay a lot of the guys the big bucks more so than me that has expertise in this side of business and expertise in the energy business. But to me, being energy independent cuts off everybody else when it comes to trade. And there may be some things that we need that we don't have bulk of from other places that helps in our energy. However, in my opinion, I think we're still the oil leader and he wants to drill more of it. Now that in regards to energy and other phases of energy, how that will coincide with the blockchain industry, that I don't know. But he says he wants us to be energy dominant. But what I want you to take a look at is the companies that were in the meeting with him. Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital Holdings, TerraWolf, CleanSpark, and Core Scientific. Let me tell y'all something. If you can, if you will, please work on getting over the fact that your favorite candidate didn't win. These companies right here, every last one of these companies are on Robinhood. Every last one of these companies that Trump met with have a ticker symbol. He's for Bitcoin. He's for the blockchain industry. These are the companies he met with. Now, let me tell y'all something. If you look at the price of these companies, Riot Platforms, so if you look at RIOT, the last price as of business close on Friday was $19.23. And Riot is a Bitcoin mining company. Marathon Digital Holdings, MARA, ticker symbol MARA, is a digital asset technology company which engages in mining cryptocurrencies. At market close on Friday, it was at $19.23 as well. TerraWolf, ticker symbol WULF, owns and operates fully integrated, environmentally clean Bitcoin mining facilities in the United States. At market close on Friday, it was at $8.25. Let's move on. CleanSpark, ticker symbol CLSK, Bitcoin mining technology company which engages in the management of data centers. My apologies. At Friday market close on 11/8, it was at $13.57. Let's move on. Core Scientific, ticker symbol CORZ, digital asset mining and blockchain infrastructure company. At market close on Friday, it was at $17.10. Each one of these stocks are under $20. And in a couple of cases, under $15 and under $10. These stocks are very, very cheap. All of these stocks have attachments or are Bitcoin mining companies, blockchain infrastructure companies, digital asset companies. Now, what do you think is going to happen when the blockchain industry, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the like goes on a bull run? What do you think these companies are going to do? They're going to run right along with it. Not only that, they met with Trump. They had a meeting with Donald Trump. Who knows what they discussed? They had a meeting with him. He is very favorable to these companies. He's very favorable to digital assets. So if Bitcoin and things in the blockchain industry is going to go on a bull run that we've never seen before, of the likes that we've never seen before. I'm talking about something epic. What do you think is going to happen with these companies? Now, let me tell you something. If you miss out on investing in these companies going forward for the next 4 years because you're upset that Trump is in office and that Kamala Harris didn't make it in office and you all up in arms, why is he in office? Why, you want to call him racist? You want to do all this other stuff? That's fine. Go ahead, have whatever way you want to think. Everybody has their own prerogative. Everybody can think the way they want to think. But let me tell you something. Think all that you want to think. Miss out on investing in these companies for the next 4 years, you may be kicking yourself real hard in the next 4 years. Because I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee. Lord forgive me. I can't guarantee you. But I can say there's a really, 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 really good chance that when Bitcoin goes on its run, when cryptocurrency goes on its run, that's going to be epic. These stocks right here, these companies right here is going to go right along with it. These 5 companies, I would implore you to make sure that you're taking an eye and you're placing it on these companies. Not just one eye. Matter of fact, both of your eyes. Take both of your eyes and make sure you're looking at these companies. Guys, don't miss out on this because this could be something epic. And if you miss out on these companies because you're afraid that Trump is going to take away our democracy or he's going to take away our constitution or you're mad that he's going to be the president and because he had a meeting with these companies, I'd rather not be a part of them, then that's your prerogative too as well. But don't miss out on something that could be very beneficial for you because you're not going to take a look at it because he's shown favorability to blockchain and Bitcoin. That is a good thing. And the reason it is a good thing because it allows you and I to take advantage of investment opportunities of that nature. And within the next 4 years, if it's favorable, if he can get these inflation numbers under control, if he can cut down on some of this government spending, now cutting into our national debt, that's going to be a task. That's going to take a while. It's going to take several different administrations to dig into that one and to start chipping away at that national debt. But let me tell you something. If he's able to get these inflation numbers under control, if he's able to cut out the government spending and certain things that add to inflation, if the market continues to act favorably towards him being in office, and especially the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry, if it goes on that epic bull run and you're not a part of it, then you have only yourselves to blame for it. And I'm giving it to you right here tonight too as well. Let's look at it again. Riot Platforms, ticker symbol RIOT. Marathon Holdings, ticker symbol MARA. TerraWolf, ticker symbol WULF. CleanSpark, ticker symbol CLSK. Core Scientific, ticker symbol CORZ. Now, the best way you can win, and this is just my opinion, the way you win is for small investors like you or I may be. And when I talk about small investors, I'm not talking about market makers. When you talk about market makers, you're talking about the big block investors. Big blocks where you got people that are worth millions of dollars that are part of the same block that's being traded by the, whether it be the New York Stock Exchange or the Chicago Exchange, these big exchanges that have the big machine behind them that could push these trades across quicker than anybody else. We don't have that type of manpower, if you will, behind us to push those type of trades. Now, the way we win, and for the majority, it's been this way forever, is to buy and hold. When you buy and hold, you win. You can't beat some of these traders. Now, you can maybe try day trading if that's what you want to try to do, but you have to have the machinery. You have to have the data. You have to have that type of power to be able to push those trades and take advantage of them. If you don't, then the way you win is by holding. You find something good, you get information on something where it's favorable towards it, and you hold it. You hold it for the long run. It also cuts off you having to pay short-term capital gains. When it comes to short-term capital gains, it is way more that you're going to have to pay percentage-wise than you would with long-term capital gains. Now, short-term capital gains, that's going to go anywhere from 10 to 37%, depending on which tax bracket you fall in and how you file your taxes. Now, when it comes to long-term capital gains, as you see, long-term capital gains are more beneficial to you. When you buy and hold, it's way more favorable to you when it comes to tax bracket rate. That's 0 to 20%. And depending on how you file your taxes is going to determine what you pay. But then what tax bracket you fall into is going to determine what you pay. But it's way more favorable when you hold for the long haul as opposing to selling quickly and having to pay short-term capital gains tax. So that's another thing and another reason it's great to hold and more beneficial for you to hold. Guys, that's all I have tonight. Please pay attention. And if you can get past what happened last week, if your favorite candidate didn't get to office, there are still ways that can make you some things that can make you very happy going forward into the future. All right, that's all I have for you tonight, guys. Hopefully I gave you something here that can help you. And remember, always, always, always stay vigilant. Thank you.